Instead, maybe I need to hire a salesperson. Maybe I need to hire a project manager. Like, find the thing that you don't like doing and outsource that. Keep the stuff that you like doing close to you.
Yeah, that's great advice. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome again to another edition of Let's Talk Marketing with In-Depth Podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Webster, and I'm excited to chop it up with you today. I don't just have me. I have my man, Don Elliott from Gravitate. Welcome back to the show, bro.
Howdy. Glad to be back.
Hey, it's good to have you back, and I see you repping some brand stuff.
Yeah, we've got Poor Choices here. This is our pub in Uptown Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, so a man that owns a marketing agency and then you opened a bar?
Yep. I just figured if I can't lose money quick enough, might as well double down.
I mean, just going to have a drink to drown your miseries away?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, so for all you first-time listeners, thank you for joining the show. If you like what you see, what you hear, please rate, subscribe, and review. If you are on audio, if you are on YouTube, please like, please comment, please subscribe on both platforms. Again, please share. So for all my worldwide listeners, thank you for joining the show. The returning guests, we got Don Elliott back. I just want to say thank you again for rocking with me. Can't do it without you. So let's get into the show. So Don, it's been about a few years since you've been on the show. What's been happening in these last 3-4 years with you, man?
Wow, it's been a wild ride.
They might not be able to hear you with your mic down there.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. The marketing industry has continued to be in a recession for at least 2 years now, possibly longer. I've been in the industry almost 30 years. I've never seen it like this. But there's certain indicators that show it might be turning around. We ourselves as a company made a lot of transition and a lot of changes. We adapted our model, we adapted our market, and we are stable as a company right now, which is fantastic. But it's not, we're not going the way we were in the old days before COVID, and even during COVID, but before the dot-com bubble part 2 burst. Before this whole marketing downturn took place, we were running gangbusters. So now it's about, who can hold their breath the longest, who can weather the storm until the tides turn, and you can start to see some serious growth again. But I'm grateful for where we're at the moment.
Man, that's crazy. You said model market. So that's business model is always a key. Always key. But you said 30 years in marketing. That is cray. Yeah. How long, though, as an agency owner?
About 25 of those.
Man, that's 25 years as an agency owner. Yeah. Man, get this man a round of applause. That's crazy. I just dropped my glasses. Okay, so 25 years. Man, I just got started 10 years ago, and I just feel like I've been put in a blender.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are some things that, wait. Before we go down that too, and you started a pub, so you became a business owner ×2. Why would you start another business?
Yeah.
With all these challenges that, we're having.
I'm mentally unstable. That's the reality of it. No, the pub we bought, we opened January 11th of this year.
Yeah.
And it's about a block and a half behind my house in Uptown Village.
That's in Vancouver, Washington. Yes. Y'all, for those that want to know, he's wearing the awesome hoodie for those that can't see. If you're not watching on YouTube, check it out. Poor Choices.
Yep. And so the brewery that was there beforehand, a whole community had kind of built up around it. But the owners wanted out. And so I approached them. And it was about a 2-year process, actually, before they were finally able to reach the price that we were comfortable with. And so we took it over, but it's a passion project. It's a small pub. It's never going to make that much money in reality. And I have business partners with it. So even if we do make money, it's getting split, across a group of people. So it's not a money play. It's a community thing. The community that's built up around there is just really special. It's really based around the arts, music, writing, that kind of thing. And so we wanted to not restrain. What's the word I'm looking for? Retain that.
Yeah.
We don't want to restrain
It's early. You don't have no coffee on you.
Yeah. We wanted to retain that. We wanted to preserve it. And so we approached them, bought it at the end of last year and opened January 11th. And it's been doing really well ever since then. The community's been really embracing it.
That's awesome,
Cool.
man.
Yeah. It's very rewarding.
Yeah. I know sometimes, for restaurants and in this industry, this could be a very hard business. Liquor's not. It can be expensive, though. There's those sort of things. But, wow, 2 businesses.
Yep. And I write on the side. I write novels. I'm a published fantasy author.
Yeah, I remember you talked about the last time you were on the show. And now how's that coming along?
It's going really well. I haven't done any. I write 20 to 30 hours a week. So I'm heads down, but I haven't, ironically, owning a marketing company, I don't promote the book. I haven't done any actual promotions. I did one once. But I've sold over 7,000 copies now.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Across all 3 of the books that I've published so far. So
Congrats. Good for you.
thank you. Yeah. I can't complain yet. Now, if I start marketing and those numbers don't go up, then I'll start complaining.
Yeah, that's a different story. Okay, so all right, so let's get back to marketing because folks are like, okay, he's been in business for 25 years. Things had to change. You said you had to restructure your model. Can you tell more of the listeners what does that look like with today's climate of the economics, the market, and including from the administrations that has taken place since 2025?
Yeah. So we've had to, one of the first things that we ran into was we were really specialized in the tech industry, Silicon Valley startups.
That was your market. Okay.
Yeah. In particular, large enterprise infrastructure. So data storage, data management, cloud security, that kind of thing. Very lucrative market to be in, but also a very difficult one. They're difficult clients to serve. But when the tech bubble imploded and Silicon Valley Bank went down, we lost more than 60% of our business, like pretty much overnight. And that put us into a tailspin. And that was at the beginning of the marketing recession that's happening in tandem with the tech recession. Yeah. Investments practically overnight went down 70% across the board in tech. And they have not bounced back, only in AI. They've bounced back in AI, but not in other sectors.
Hold on. For the listeners that are not familiar with Silicon Valley Bank that went under, how long? That was like 2-3 years ago?
Yeah, end of 22.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying it still hasn't bounced back?
No. AI investments are up way, way higher, but standard, like more traditional tech investments are still way, way down compared to where they were.
Wow, that's crazy. All right. I just want to make sure the listeners knew that it wasn't just like a few months ago. The SVB thing was a significant deal. Biden was in office, that whole. But please keep going.
Yeah. So we had to recognize, okay, this was a lucrative market, but it was tumultuous. It was unstable and very difficult people to work with. The culture in Silicon Valley is very intense. It's more about how many hours you put in versus the quality of work you put in, that kind of thing, expecting 24/7 responses, that kind of thing. So they're already kind of difficult. So we said, okay, well, we can't stay in this market. So we have to pivot. Now, we still service the industry. We still have clients in there, but we don't market to it anymore. So we pivoted. We took a hard look at all the work we've done over all these years. Gravitate's been around since 1999. So it's the oldest agency in Vancouver, and one of the, that's, as a digital agency, it's even nationally, it's pretty dang old. Yeah, as a company, it's been around
established.
Yeah, very established. It's old and curmudgeonly.
Yes, if you were a bank, you would have the pillars for the bank.
Yeah, exactly. But so we took a hard look at all of the clients we've serviced over all these years. Who do we have the best case studies with? Who do we have the best referral networks with? And decided to double down on nonprofits. So we do a lot of nonprofit work.
Okay.
And that surprises people because people think nonprofits don't have money. Like, how
No,
would we
they
go from
do.
Silicon Valley tech startups to nonprofits and still keep the doors open? The truth is, nonprofits that are healthy and successful operate like for-profit businesses, and they're putting 20% of their budget into marketing. When
20%, that's a lot.
yeah, it's what I would recommend. Of course, I'm biased.
I hope y'all are listening. I hope y'all listening. For those that say, "Oh, I don't need," I'm waiting for that post to go viral.
Yeah, it's like you can look it up. It's generally considered best practice is 15 to 20% of your budget should be marketing.
I be saying that. I just want to make sure you
Yeah.
know, you've been doing marketing 2.5 times longer than I have, and you're gonna say 15. I usually say about anywhere from 5 to 10% because I'm working with smaller companies, but you're saying 15 to 20%. So
Yeah, and if you can't afford that yet, it should be a goal. And the reason you should have a goal that's that high is, well, let me preface that by saying if you want growth, if you're growth minded.
okay.
Now, if you have
Okay.
your business at a place where you're stable and you just want to,
Sustainable.
then 20% is probably not necessary. Depends on the market.
Sure.
Depends on what you're doing.
It depends for all companies.
Yeah, exactly. But a good rule of thumb, 15 to 20% if you're serious about growth.
Okay.
Now, how you spend that 15 to 20% is a whole different story.
Yes.
And I could see somebody with a 5% budget doing much better than somebody spending 20% if they're using the wrong agencies or trying to DIY things too much or that kind of thing. Seeing a lot of disasters.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But so we pivoted towards nonprofits, travel and tourism, and
Travel and tourism, that's a good industry.
yeah, well, and then now that industry is getting rocked because of all the immigration stuff and the fear of coming to the United States right now. So tourism is down.
Yeah.
But outside of the United States, it's up.
Okay.
Because all these folks who would be traveling to the U.S. are saying, well, no, I'm going to go to France or Venezuela or something instead.
Okay.
So we've
Interesting.
shifted our markets to be focused on Europe, the Middle East, and South America for tourism.
Okay. Okay.
And that's doing well. We're getting some good results there. But
Are you working with airlines or is it travel agencies or
yeah,
travel
it's
agents?
usually like private travel agencies. So
Okay.
like there's a company called Ubuntu, and they do luxury travel to South Africa.
Yeah.
And so
I thought you said I was good. You said South America, but now you said South Africa.
that one's South Africa. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so, and the only reason we're not actually targeting Africa in particular is partially because of Ubuntu. They're a big player, and we don't want to. We're not going to service their competition. So the market's a little. I don't know if I'd say it's saturated, but it's not as hot for us as Europe or South America.
Man, I went to and I gotta stop interrupting you, but it's so fascinating because I just got back from Kenya for the second time about four months ago, and it's crazy how many people travel to Africa.
Right.
I don't think people realize how Africa is a destination spot for a lot of people and a second home or a third home over there.
Yeah. There's a lot of tourism to Africa.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. I just want to let y'all know for y'all sleeping on Africa. Yeah. But y'all should look at my videos when I traveled there and my playlist. So make sure you check that out. All right. I put it in the tag.
Yeah. So we pivoted markets. The other thing we did on a business model standpoint was we went kind of off the rails and got rid of account managers.
Oh.
Which is not usual for our industry. So what we did is we have
That's great.
about 60 to 70% of our business are retainers, whether they're maintenance retainers, so website maintenance, or growth retainers, which is digital marketing, SEO, paid advertising, that kind of thing. And so traditional model is you have an account manager who sort of owns the relationship. They're there to make sure the client's happy, getting what they need, servicing them well, and then communicating to the team who's doing the actual work. That's the traditional model. And the theory is, the theory I agree with, but I don't believe in the execution anymore. And the theory is that you can have an incredible product and a really bad client experience, and you'll lose a client. You can have a mediocre product and a great client experience, and you'll keep the client.
Yep.
So obviously you want both, right? But so we were looking at the account managers going, okay, so their job is to make the client happy, but what's really happening is there's telephone tag being played. The client's feeling like they can't talk to the people who are doing the work unless they're being pulled into a special meeting. And there's miscommunications. The account managers are great at what they do, but they're not necessarily super deep experts and can't answer all these technical questions. So there's constant delays in communication. And we're paying headcount for it. So when we were having to downsize, we had to take a hard look at that model, and we shifted to what we call a strategist first model. And what that means is that the person who the head strategist for the account, the person who's being held accountable for the results of those campaigns, is the person who manages the client now. So the client is working directly with the person being held responsible for the work and the person who's leading the team directly. So what it does is it gets rid of all that telephone game, cut through all this poor communication or slow communication. And the client now, when they have an idea, they don't talk to the account manager, who then goes talks to somebody, and that person thinks about it, gets back to the account manager schedules a meeting, gets back to them. Instead, the client hops on a call with Chelsea and says, I have this idea. I'm wondering what you think about this. And Chelsea says, that's great. Let's do it. Or no, here's my concerns about it. So it becomes very, very collaborative and very quick. And then in addition to that, what we found, because my worry was that the strategist would be stressed because managing clients is stressful.
Yeah, they're high maintenance.
But what I found is when you hire the right people who are willing to be client communicating, and not just willing, but are satisfied by good communication and feel higher job satisfaction when they have good interactions with clients. We focus on hiring those folks, and those folks, turns out, they preferred not having an account manager because they got to say directly to the person when they had like the client says, I want to do A, B, and C. And the strategist knows, oh no, that's going to waste a ton of money. That's not a good idea. Well, the account manager takes the idea, that person shoots it down, the account manager takes it back to the client feels their idea was shot down, they don't get it, they ask questions, but the account manager doesn't necessarily know all the answers. So now the strategist can just say, no, here's why I don't think we should do that. Break it all down in a really easily to understandable way. They can have a discussion, maybe make some compromises, and come up with a plan.
Yeah.
So it cut down headcount by 4 or 5 folks. So that's brutal, but as far as staying afloat as a business, it was absolutely necessary.
How long ago did you did that?
That would have been about 1.5 years ago, I want to say.
Okay.
Maybe 2 years ago. It was right after Silicon Valley Bank crashed.
Okay.
So right at the end of 22, I think, actually, I would say. Okay. Yeah. And that was a huge change. And absolutely, I wish I had done this 20 years ago.
Just for context, y'all, for those that might be thinking like, oh, he has this old agency, he has a beautiful space, huge space that is not really, if he's cutting people, it's not being really occupied. But I know they created one space that they started from square one when I was at Regis, and then you went to another space and you started at square one again. And now you're cutting people. So you're talking about overhead.
Oh, yeah. So that was one of the, if I look back, I bought the company in 2020.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks before quarantine. So that was my welcoming home. I came back to the company on March 2nd. So we had to weather the storm of COVID, which was really scary at first, but then we're going gangbusters after that. We grew to 38 people, and moving into this new office space made a lot of sense at the time. We had two other tenants who were going to sublease half the space from us. So they were going to cover essentially a little more than half the bill. But then construction, thanks to all the supply chain stuff that was happening, construction took 6 months longer than it was supposed to. So we lost those tenants. And no one wanted that much office space in Vancouver. They kind of still don't. And then the downturn happened. So we downsized. We're roughly around 20 people right now. We downsized at one point to 12.
Oh my gosh.
From 38. So it was absolutely a bloodbath. It was brutal, very painful for everyone involved. Yeah, dark times.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hence, you have to evolve or die. So we looked at the model, we looked at the market. The last big shift that we did, and this was our last round of layoffs, and I laid off 5 people back to back. It was absolutely brutal.
I don't think people, like, if you never fired anybody, for those that have never fired anyone, it is gut wrenching. So, I usually don't. I didn't sleep the night prior or after.
Yeah. I mean, these are folks who laying someone off is harder than firing, because laying someone off, they didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
You know, they're doing their job and they're doing it well, and you got to let them go. And it's like, if somebody's poorly performing, it still sucks letting them go, but it's like, you got to go. You're not pulling your weight. You're not doing your job. In this case, you're pulling your weight. You're doing your job. You're hustling. You've made it through these other rounds of layoffs, and you've stayed committed. And now I'm going to let you go anyways. And it's just absolutely brutal. I do everything I can to help them find jobs afterwards, make introductions,
That's awesome.
Letters, recommendations, references, everything I can, but doesn't change the fact that I single-handedly go in and upend their lives. These are breadwinners for their families. They have kids, they have houses and mortgages, but at the end of the day, I could keep everyone on board and then we all lose our job in 2 months, or we let go of folks and we try to keep the ship floating, which is what we did. So the very last round of layoffs that we did was end of last year, July, I think, of last year, actually. And it was our projects team, the bulk of our projects team. So we do website projects, and that's about 30 to 40% of our business. And for those 5 folks, our total payroll and taxes and everything came down to around $60,000 a month in bills. And here we are making, we would do $500,000 in a month prior, and now it's, 200,000 was like a good month for us for a while. So 60,000 in payroll when you're only bringing 200,000 in total. And that's, and it's head count, and that's not the entire, that's just one section of it. That's just 5 people.
Right.
So what we decided to do was I partnered with a company called Arcata Labs, a guy named Jason Crawford. He started it in Portland, but he moved his operations to Guatemala. And he has a compound down there now and a staff of like 20 or something people.
Okay.
He buses them in from all around. He pays them way higher than anybody else down there, benefits, all that kind of stuff. And we had been partners and working together for quite a while. So I reached out to him and said, here's our situation. And he was like, well, that's perfect because we need you as a customer. So we formed a partnership.
That's awesome.
And expanded. So we have, I think, 4 full-time developers with his team.
Okay.
And then 2 developers in-house and a project manager in-house. So our development team is, actually, I think it's like 8 or 9. There's 2 project managers and then developers. And 2 of them are in-house and the rest are Arcata's team.
Okay.
But they operate as our team. We're on Slack. We have weekly stand-up meetings, all that kind of stuff. They don't work for anyone else, just us.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so it's really tight.
Yeah.
And then 2 of the guys that I had to let go, one was a creative director who'd been with the company for 20 years.
Whew.
And another one, a content strategist who had been with the company for over 15. They were gracious enough and understood the situation well enough to not be Well, I wouldn't say to not be upset at me, but not to be overly upset at me. And so they agreed to come back as contractors.
Okay.
So they're on retainer with us now.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah. So what's fantastic about that
Good
is
for you.
we get they get income now. In fact, I know at least one of them's making even more money now. So that feels good. But
He was like, oh, I can work this a different way. I can, yeah.
yeah, he's doing his own thing now. And but so we now, we're just paying as the work comes in.
Right.
So that $60,000 a month bill that I had before, we had to pay that whether the work was there or not. Now, if the work's not there, I don't have to pay. Within reason. We have cancellation clauses and stuff. I can't just cancel out of the blue.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. But so we took this team and replaced it with really close-knit contractors. And that's what's enabled us to stabilize. We've been stable for a year and are slowly on the path to growth again.
Good for you. Okay. So, man, thank you for shedding light on that journey, man. And being very intimate with the details. I appreciate that. As for the listeners, I know they appreciate that too, because I think we get, as business owners, especially small entrepreneurs that maybe not have the same amount of experience. I know I don't have employees for that very thing. I can't afford them, but for you to do that, man, I know that was tough, but I tip my hat off to you. And so, when we talk about AI, or the Instagram, like I mentioned before, Instagram going SEO, and I think part of that's the AI play that Meta has. And then you brought up earlier that before we were hit live, you were talking about the Washington state tax. So there's a lot of big events that are happening. How are you dealing with all of that?
Oh, boy. Well, AI is a big topic.
And I always ask this question. Do you believe AI will be able to replace you?
No.
Okay. What you were going to say about AI?
I don't think it will be able to replace me specifically, because people still need leadership from humans. AI can be a guide and a sounding board if you want to use it that way. But it's not going to be able to look at you and understand you and know you. Okay. It's going to infer things. It's going to try to find patterns, things like that. It's not going to sit there and come over to your house when you're feeling bad and inspire you to get up.
Very true. Very true. I just like to ask that with all my guests, because people think, oh my gosh, AI. But, okay.
Now, could it replace everything that we do as a company at some point in the future? I wouldn't say that's impossible. I'd say it's highly unlikely. I think you're always going to need people to be the Sherpas and the guides and the navigators. But it's already, Google, daily Google usage is down 40 million users a day since ChatGPT came out. Over the last 2 years. And ChatGPT is up 100 million users a day. So click-through traffic in Google search went down 30% across the board. Astronomic number. And it's all because of AI search results. So we're focused now on getting people to show up in the AI search results.
Right. Yeah. Those SERPs, are no longer, can I get to the top of the page of Google? It's
right.
Like,
now it's can I can I placate the AI? And that's called GEO, is one of the terms being used, generative engine optimization, or AI SEO, or there's a bunch of terms floating around.
Right.
But it's another gold rush. It's the way SEO was when it first began, in that like whoever gets their toeholds first are going to do the best.
Right.
And we get quite a bit of traffic now through ChatGPT, Grok, Perplexity.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so
those are good that you share which ones you use. I use Claude, by the way.
Yeah, Claude's great.
Yeah.
Yep. But the tax thing, this one, AI is like the tide coming in, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just got to get on a wave and ride it in. Try to understand it, try to embrace it. There is no stopping it. On the other side, there's this new tax that's been passed in Washington State. And it's infuriating to me because I think it's very short-sighted. So there's now a sales tax on digital services in Washington State for Washington State companies.
Okay.
So you have to charge between 6.7% up to 10%, just shy of 10%, depending on where the client is located in Washington, for services. So we have a client that is around, they pay, I think it's around $10,000 a month. And they're in Seattle, so they're going to get a 9.5% increase to their bill with no added value.
Why? Because what are they? I guess what are you servicing them with?
Just digital marketing, website maintenance, that kind of thing. And so, but what infuriates me about it, and why I think it's so short-sighted, is that the only way Washington State actually enforces is when they audit a Washington State company. So it's, first of all, it's random, plus it's they're targeted auditing. They do more targeted than they do random. But so if you're an outside agency, if you're in California and you're servicing a Washington agency, you can just say, I'm not going to pay sales tax. I'm not going to charge them. And they will skate free as long as they spend less than, I think it's $100,000 in a year. They get away scot-free anyways. But even if it's way higher than that, the only way they get caught is if a Washington State company is audited and they're discovered that they hadn't paid sales tax. So it ultimately just makes us way less competitive in our own state.
Yes.
And it's just one more thing that takes more money out of small businesses' pockets. And I feel like there's this tendency we want this new benefit for our society. We want people to experience this new wonderful thing, whatever it is. So let's just raise taxes. That's the answer. And let's do it for small businesses.
Yeah. Small businesses ain't got no money to pay taxes.
Yeah, we don't have big lobbyist groups.
No.
Both sides of the aisle say that they're for small businesses, but very few take actual action to help small businesses.
Man, I knew that was coming. I knew that my accountant talked to me about that a few weeks ago. I was like, what? Really? Yeah. So that, I mean, it's like, kind of like the AI thing. It's like all these big changes and you have to, there's no fighting it.
Yeah. So already, agencies already operate on the margins right now because of the state of the industry. And now you're adding this new thing on them that makes them less competitive on top of it. So we're having to communicate with all of our clients that are in Washington, and, talk them through things. There's some clauses. If they sign before a certain time, then they don't have to pay taxes until a renewal or April 1st to 26. There's all these little nuances. They'll save them some money in the meantime. But at the end of the day, like, that client is going to be spending $1,000 more a month with us and getting nothing for it.
Yeah, that's yeah. I hate raising the bill on clients, and then you got to say, well, I have no control over this.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure they'll be pretty understanding, but I'm prepared to lose a client over this because it's things are already tight, and I won't be surprised if somebody says, yeah, well, there's another agency who's not going to charge us that tax, so we're going to go with them.
So, I mean, we are at time, but I would love still to hear you talk about how your marketing expertise background has helped Poor Choices Pub. And I mean, obviously, that has to take up some of your time. How do you, for the entrepreneurs out there, really, that's the question is, how do you not burn out? How do you keep a healthy balance for yourself and your family?
I'm trying to figure the answer to that. I think for me, one of the things that I've learned is that I've really focused in on identifying what are my key core values. What are the things that bring me the most satisfaction and fulfillment in life? Mm-hmm. What are those values? And what I find is typically burnout comes when you're not feeding those values. And instead your energy is going into things that are not feeding that. And so the pub is community, is a value to me, like celebrating people, celebrating the arts, helping people become more artistic, coming out of their shell, finding new friends. That all that aspect of community is a value of mine, and it's fulfilling to see it happen. And so I focus my efforts there. Whereas there's other things I have to do. I have to deal with this tax BS with the state that doesn't have anything to do with my values, and it's taking up my time and my energy. So it brings burnout. Writing 20 to 30 hours a week, that's filling. It's not a job, it's not a duty, it's not a task. It's the art of creation, and there again, that's a value for me, is just creating. So I think it's not a silver bullet, but I think really taking an inventory on what is it that inspires you, what is it that your values lie, and then try to shift your activities and actions and behaviors around those things. And if that activity doesn't fit one of those values or engage in one of those things, then is there somebody else who can do it? Can you hire somebody to do it? Or you're just going to have to say, I got to hunker down and bite the bullet on this one, but I'm going to keep my eye focused on the thing that I really enjoy doing.
Yeah, that's so rich. Thank you for that. I think sometimes we forget just to look up and pay attention to either the sun that's out there, the leaves falling, the snow on the ground. But I know you say you write for 20 to 30 hours a week, so I'm sure that's a good outlet for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I've seen in regards to burnout, what I've seen a lot is where with business owners, they start to grow and they're very excited. And inevitably what they do is they start hiring people to do the things that they enjoy doing. And they're like, oh, I need to hire, I'm a designer. I love being a designer, but I've got to do all this paperwork. I need to get out there selling. I need to do all these things. So I need another designer to take over my work. And you're like, wait a second, you just got rid of the thing that you got into this for. And I see that happen all the time. Instead, maybe I need to hire a salesperson. Maybe I need to hire a project manager. Like, find the thing that you don't like doing and outsource that. Keep the stuff that you like doing close to you.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you so much, man. For the folks out there listening that want, like, man, I got to check this cat out, where can they find you at?
You can find me on LinkedIn at just Don Elliott. I'm on most of the socials under Don is Flying. And then poorchoices.pub and gravitatedesign.com are the two companies. Okay. Oh, donelliott.us is my author website.
And what are the books that you have, the 3 books you have?
Yep, I've got 3 books. It's a trilogy called The Story of Rain.
Like REIGN?
Or RAIN. Like water.
Like here in the Northwest, what we get a lot of.
Yeah. But it's set in a desert.
Okay, because this is fantasy, the fiction.
Yep.
Fiction novels. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, for those there that are here local too, I just want to remind you that our Let's Connect conference is November 13th. We're having it in Portland, Oregon at the Holiday Inn. If you want to connect with people, this is a great opportunity as a business to not burn out, to get a maybe subcontractor, find someone to possibly, if you need to delegate to where you don't find yourself in a place that's bad, but you might find some Don Elliott's there. I know Don, he showed up at the a few years ago.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully you can come back.
Planning on it. Yep.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I think with the beautiful thing about these times, in the hard times, is you start figuring out who's there for you. And I think the beautiful thing with Poor Choices is that's your Let's Connect is. Yeah. And I commend you for that, man. So I definitely need to go check it out. I'm not a drinker.
We have the whole second side of our cooler, whole left side of our cooler is all NA options. We have a ton of non-alcoholic options.
Oh, okay.
Because of the community. We want it where, like, you want to cut back on drinking or you don't want to be a drinker, and that means you can't hang out with your friends. That's not cool. So we have tons of NA options there.
So you really thought this through about it. Okay. And is there a good food that you recommend?
There's a Thai food cart out back. It's fantastic, called Thai for You. And we have I think it's a sandwich food cart that's going to be moving in about a month.
Okay. All right. I will be there within the month.
All right, then. You guys heard it.
All right, Don, thank you again for coming on. We're going to make sure we put all the information in the show notes for the podcast. Look in the description if you're on YouTube. Again, if you like what you heard, please give him a follow if you're in the area. Please go check out Poor Choices. But where is it located at for the address?
1919 Main Street in Uptown Village, Vancouver, Washington.
All right. You guys heard it first here on I'm almost said Let's Connect, but Let's Talk Marketing with Enda podcast. Wish you nothing but the best. Dream big and Godspeed. We're out.